75-62 is the final. Michigan loses to rival Michigan State tonight. It was one of those games that had the hype all week, Sam, and it didn't really live up to it from the Michigan side of it. It was really a tale of two halves, right? Michigan came out. They got the 38-34 lead at the half and really just didn't come out with that same energy to start the second half. Had a couple comeback runs, but ultimately it was too many mistakes, too many offensive rebounds, and Michigan State was just a tougher team tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a matter of toughness, but certainly it was a tale of a reversal of roles or fortune. If you told me before the game that Michigan State would outshoot Michigan from the three-point line, I would have called you a liar. But that's exactly what happened tonight. The stat that I thought would be the telling stat, and certainly was a damning stat for Michigan, with turnovers. Michigan State hasn't lost a game this season against a team who's turned the ball over more than 12 times. Michigan turned the ball over 15 times tonight. They had 7 turnovers in the first half. You thought maybe they would be able to clamp down on it. They still went into the half with a halftime lead, but you wanted them to tighten up. They were going to need to hit more of their open looks from three-point. They got some good looks in the first half. They weren't able to capitalize on them, and you wanted them to hit their free throws. Well, they came on the second half. It felt that they were worse when it came to hitting their open looks. They didn't do a good job of capitalizing from the free throw line, and they didn't take care of the basketball. And Michigan State, meanwhile, shot well from three-point range. You can't make a bad three-point shooting team. You can't let them get some confidence from three-point land. And Michigan did that. So, you tip your cap to Michigan State. They came out on Michigan's floor and played a heck of a game. So you don't want to make it be about what you didn't do. They came out and they played well. They rebounded well. They were physical. They executed. So before you talk about how you didn't play well, a lot of what Michigan didn't do well tonight was credit to Michigan State. But at the same time, Michigan not hitting their free throws, that's on Michigan. Michigan not hitting their open looks, that's on Michigan. A lot of their turnovers weren't necessarily of the forced variety. They had some careless turnovers tonight that they're going to have to tighten up. So when they go up to East Lansing, because you don't want to make too much of this, Josh, it's not like, I expect when they go up to East Lansing for Michigan State, a 29% three-point shooting team to shoot 40 whatever percent they shot.
9 of 22, the Spartans shot from three-point land tonight, while Michigan shot 5 of 21, uncharacteristic from both teams, right? You had the just outlier performance from both programs, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, you can't have the three-point shooting statistic be that lopsided in there. It just cannot happen. Now, do I expect Michigan State to shoot 40% from three, even in their house? No, I don't. Michigan, while they'll shoot better, I would expect. Dusty even alluded to this when he was in the press conference. Michigan will shoot better than that, but it's not like they've been shooting great.
Yeah.
I guess I would be somewhat concerned.
He says it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, they haven't been, for them to be a team that, prides itself as a good three-point shooting team. They haven't shot it great of late. So I expect them to shoot it better than this, but it hasn't been a calling card of late. So yeah, man, they definitely need to, I don't know what you do at this point. They got some guys who are really struggling. Roddy's really struggling. They haven't been able to get Reuben Jones on track of late. They need to find their rudder from the three-point line to be the kind of team that they want to be for the long run. They want to be a team that makes a deep run, even beyond the Big Ten. I think finding their rudder from three-point range is a part of that. But, man, they got to hit the free throws. They got to take care of the basketball better than they did tonight.
In a game like this, you want your stars to play like stars. Vlad, he gives the Wolverines 21 points. Danny Wolf only 11 points, 1 of 4 from three-point range. You sort of wanted to see a little bit more from their star player. He's a guy that's everyone's talking first-round potential, possible lottery pick. You want to see a little bit more production out of him, especially, you mentioned some of the role players, but today to see that star power, because clearly on Michigan State side, they got their stars, their guys, their best players played like their best players tonight. And Michigan sort of lacked that. They had Vlad, but some of the other guys weren't producing.
Yeah, I kind of thought early on, you saw it a bit. Jace Richardson came out and looked like a dude.
Yeah.
Early. He was a go-to guy for him early. And I thought Danny was kind of trading with him early. He was being that go-to guy. He made some plays for him early. You saw him kind of make some moves in the post. You saw him with behind the back. Bounce pass.
That was sweet.
Bounce pass.
Yeah.
He was making some plays. And so, I do think that there are moments where you need a guy to be able to put a team on his back. And maybe that's going to have to be in this stretch run. There are going to have to be some moments where it's either Vlad or Danny or Trey, kind of take the team and have those moments where they put them on their back. I think they needed that tonight. And they weren't able to do that. So as they get into this stretch run, they're going to have to be a little more assertive in that. And we've seen that at times over the last few games. We saw it at Ohio State. Danny did it. UCLA, we saw Trey do it. There have been moments where we've seen guys do it. So didn't happen tonight. I don't think you make too much of that. Like I said, tip your cap to Michigan State. Give them their credit. Now, as you see, they got a big one. It's a quick turnaround against Nebraska coming up. Don't let one become two.
Right. Yeah. So let's hit on that. Obviously, the last time Michigan tasted defeat, they just got beat down at Purdue. They responded with 6 wins, took the lead in the Big Ten. Now they're a half game behind Michigan State, but they control their own destiny still. They go to Nebraska, then they got 3 home games, and then they end the season at Michigan State. And remember, Michigan State still has to play Wisconsin. So there's a lot of basketball to be played. What's sort of your expectations here as Michigan winds down when they split these last 5 games?
Look, Michigan State has a really, really tough schedule, a tougher schedule than Michigan down the stretch. Like you said, they got to play Wisconsin. I think they have to go to Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. And then they still have Michigan coming to their house. But the tough part about Michigan is they got to go to Nebraska Monday. This is a super quick turnaround. Even if they had won tonight, it was going to be tough. Even tougher. You're coming off a loss. You got to regroup. Even
great atmosphere down there too, no doubt about it.
Nebraska, tough place to play. So the mental, part of getting up off the mat, and then just the physical recovery as well is going to be tough. So, but they got to do it. Don't let one game become 2. But you got to figure out a way to get on track, shooting the basketball. That's a big part of it. But you got guys who played a lot of basketball. I think that they, you saw them do a great job of recovering from that Purdue game a couple of weeks ago. I think you saw them do a great job of recovering from that loss to Minnesota when they were mentally deflated and defeated. And there was a physical, I think, beating that they took in the backcourt in that game that they recovered from well. I think you saw some similarities with, I thought, some of their guards. Really, I had thought did a good job of pounding them and getting to the basket. Got to get up from that, go to Nebraska, get that win. I think that'll do a lot to give them some, reinvigorate them and get them back on the winning track.
Dusty, man, always, he's been saying, never get too high, never get too low after a win or a loss. He's going to be the guy that leads this program. Clearly, that was evident with the release of saying, with Ward Manuel spoke to the media, and then you saw the press release saying that they gave him a multi-year deal. It's essentially a new contract, but Ward said an extra year to his current deal. They didn't release the numbers. Sure, there was a little bit of an increase in there, especially even though Ward said Indiana, this had nothing to do with Indiana. Okay, Ward, but it's a great season, but generally you don't see this this early in the year one. We're only 3/4 way through the season. Your thoughts on that in closing?
So I think the part that had to do with Indiana was the timing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a new contract was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So that part didn't have anything to do with Indiana.
Right.
I think Ward was being straight with you.
Right.
Because Dusty outperformed the contract. The contract that Dusty signed initially was the contract that you sign when you're the number 1 candidate on the market.
Yeah.
Last offseason. But now he was performing at the level of the top coach in the Big Ten. he was being paid less than Kevin Willard, right?
Yeah.
So I'm outperforming. He is everything that when Ward started vetting him, when Juwan was being courted by the Lakers, that's when he started looking at him. He's that and then some. And so when Indiana is knocking at the door, what that does is it makes you say, okay, let's start talking about this in season. That's what that does. But no, Dusty, he comes in, and what he showed that is different from what these NBA guys show. Because I mean, whether it's Mike Woodson, Juwan Howard, or these NBA guys, I think these NBA guys can coach. I thought Juwan could coach. He coached the team to the Elite Eight. Like his stuff worked. But I think what you see with a lot of NBA guys, and you saw it with Woodson's team at Indiana right now, and this is probably what they're lamenting. They go out and they spend all this money on these portal guys. And I remember looking at it, and I was like, who's going to shoot the basketball? Like they can coach a team, but can they build the team?
Yes.
And you saw Dusty build this team.
Yeah.
He can construct the team and coach a team too. Right now. Instantly. And that is a skill, man.
Yeah.
That is in high demand. You got to pay for that. And Ward got it. This is great. This is great work. Great work by Ward. Say what you want about Ward Manuel. You went, you identified his football coach, got a guy.
He didn't hesitate.
Got a guy who could come in and beat Ohio State year one, right? But your basketball coach, who you beat Louisville for, right? Number one guy on the market. And then his alma mater is calling. And Indiana had designs on, well, he's our Jim Harbaugh. What they didn't see was they're missing a part of that dynamic. San Francisco was kicking Jim out the door at the same time. Nobody at Michigan was kicking Dusty out the door.
Right.
They were wrapping, Ward was wrapping Dusty in a warm embrace. He was caressing Dusty.
Yeah.
He was like, come get this extra money, Dusty. He probably threw another 7 figures on that. I'm speculating.
Yeah.
Like, come get this money. Come get this extra year, these extra dollars. And if you were paying attention to some of the factors that kind of led him away from Louisville, the talk was that he wants to coach big time basketball, wants to have a bunch of resources, wants to be at the top of the sport without the life and death fishbowl pressure cooker aspect of can you have your cake and eat it too. Michigan offers you that. It's a big time job. You can be at the pinnacle of the sport, but it's not like the life and death of it. Well, that's Indiana. It's life and death. And you got the added pressure of it's life and death, and it's your family and friends too. So if it doesn't happen there, Josh, you're not going to lose your family, but you're going to lose some friends. Here, I'm
just happy you're here.
You're just happy you're here, and it's
Ask John Beeline that.
It's pressure.
Yeah.
It's pressure, but it's not life and death.
Yeah.
It is not ready to, run you out of
Not the
town.
football team.
It's not like that. But he's gonna want some extra resources. He's gonna want some extra NIL, just like basketball, just like football did. And you saw what happened with football.
Mm-hmm.
They won, and look what happened with NIL. They just went and got Bryce Underwood. They wasn't getting Bryce Underwood before they won the title. They're getting Bryce Underwood now. Dusty's winning games. He had the number one team in the Big Ten. He's looking to get back. We'll see how they respond, but they just got the number one player in the state, 5-star guy out of Flint, away from Izzo, right? So getting some things done. I think you'll see the NIL respond. You saw Ward respond to all the great success. This is great work by Dusty and his staff to get the program to where it is after winning, 7 or 8 games last year, whatever it was. And now this is great work by Ward Manuel to secure him when his alma mater and all the prestige and storybook aspect of that program they have down there wasn't enough to pull him away. Michigan got their man, kept their man, guarded their yard. That's great work.
Well, hey, Sam said it all. That's going to wrap up our coverage here from the Chrysler Center. For Sam Webb, I'm Josh Newkirk for the Michigan Insider. See the end.